I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a couple things that I purchased at Target. And if you hear kind of some loud banging and stuff like that, it is the wind. It's very, very windy outside and it rattles this window over here, so that's kind of what that banging noise is. I purchased another one of the Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift Mascaras, and I got 200 Blackest Black. It's this one right here. I've been using this mascara pretty regularly since I first got one, so I wanted to pick up another tube because I was feeling like this one was getting a little dry on me. But I really enjoy this mascara. I feel like it separates and lengthens and volumizes my lashes really well. I don't get a ton of like lift out of it. My lashes kind of go like point downwards. I get a little bit of lift, but not a ton. But one of the things that I really like about this mascara is it doesn't flake or smudge on me. It's got one of those kind of natural bristle brushes on it, and then it squishes in the middle and then gets bigger on the ends. But I really have been enjoying this mascara, and again, this tube was getting a little dry on me, so I went ahead and I purchased another one. I have actually had this mascara since it came out. I think it was over a month ago now. And then on one of the end caps at Target, they had a display full of Winky Lux products. So Target now carries Winky Lux, which I'm super excited about because I see it on several kind of high-end retailers a lot, but I've never been able to like see it in person. So I purchased a few products from the brand. This first one is the Winky Lux Peeper Perfect Under Eye Concealer. Their packaging is super, super cute on this brand. It just makes me want to go back and buy more products from them. I purchased the shade Fair, and it's marketed as an under eye concealer, and it says on the back of the box, full coverage formula with hyaluronic acid and collagen. And I feel like this is a light medium buildable type of a coverage, and it feels very serum like and very kind of hydrating. I don't have any creasing underneath the eyes, and it just feels really, really comfortable. I think that my under eyes look super nice. Again, I got the shade Fair. My mom also purchased this concealer, and so I was asking her how she was liking it, and she really likes this concealer as well. Again, I wouldn't really call it a full coverage concealer, like a heavy full coverage. I think it's more like a light medium buildable type of a coverage, but again, it feels so nice underneath the eyes. And there's 10 milliliters or 0.33 fluid ounces of product. This is what it comes in, is a little squeeze tube like this here. And then again, the shade that I got is Fair. And I'm quite impressed with this little guy. So I just put a little dot right there. This is the lightest shade, and I do feel like it works for me, but if you're really, really fair, I think this Fair shade might be a little bit too dark. But you can kind of see it's got like some nice, more hydrating type of properties to it, but I really like this concealer so far. Again, that's the Winky Lux Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer. I also purchased the Winky Lux Coffee Bronzer in the shade Mocha. I believe there were 3 shades available, and this was kind of the middle shade right here. And this does smell like a mocha coffee scent. It says on the packaging coffee scented, and it is coffee scented. It definitely smells like mocha. This is what the packaging looks like. There is a total of 0.42 ounces of product, which is a nice amount of product that you're getting in there. And I originally thought that this was going to be a little bit more kind of ready tone, but on the skin it pulls a little bit more warm than kind of what I thought it was going to be, but it's still a really pretty bronzer. I feel like it blends out and has nice pigmentation to it. And it did make my brushes smell like coffee, which I don't mind. I love coffee. But this is the bronzer that I have on today, and this is the shade Mocha. I would say that the finish is kind of it's like a satin matte finish. I don't have any visible like sparkles or anything in there, but it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but not a lot. So that is the shade Mocha, and it's a little warm, but I still have been enjoying it, and I do keep getting whiffs of like coffee. I also purchased one of the lipsticks, and this is the Winky Lux Creamy Dreamy's Shea Butter Lipstick. There's 0.14 ounces of product in here, and I had seen these lipsticks so many times online, and I just never bit the bullet and bought them. And they come in the cutest little packaging, and I think because I like this formula quite a bit because it's super comfortable to wear. It almost feels like you're putting on a lip balm, but it has a nice amount of pigmentation to it to be a lipstick. It's a really nice, comfortable lipstick formula. I'm going to definitely check out more of these when I go back to town, but the shade that I got is Butterscotch, and it's this one right here. And then the packaging looks like this. It's the tiniest little packaging that would fit in your pocket or your purse just so easily. And it is a warm nude shade. And I wore this yesterday, and again, just very, very comfortable lipstick. right there. That's the shade Butterscotch. It has a slight, very, very slight sweet smell, but it's not like a super powering smell at all. But that's the shade Butterscotch, and I really enjoyed wearing this formula yesterday. When I put it on, it just felt like I was kind of throwing on a lip balm. So that is the Winky Lux Shea Butter Lipstick in Butterscotch right there. And then I purchased 2 of their eyeshadow palettes. I could not resist the packaging on this. Super, super cute packaging, and it's also on the actual palette as well. But this is the outside box packaging. It's got little kitties and coffee cups on this one, and then little kitties on this one too. Like the cutest packaging ever. So this first one is the Winky Lux Coffee Kitten palette, and this one is also coffee scented, so it smells like the bronzer. And inside of here, this is just like the perfect neutral palette. Very standard kind of finishes and standard type of colors, mattes and shimmers. But the formulation of these is really, really nice. Like super easy to work with, pigmented, they blend out really well. I do get a little bit of fallout with those matte shades, but it brushes off my face pretty easily. But I'm pretty impressed with these. There's 2 other palettes that I think that were in the store that I'm gonna check out too next time I'm in there, but again, the packaging is so cute. So this is the Coffee Kitten palette, and again, it does smell like coffee. A nicer range of mattes as well. You've got a light, some mediums, and some deeps. This one's got a little bit of a sparkle factor to it, but it's mostly a matte base. And then you've got 5 shimmers, which are these 3 and these guys over here. But it's very neutral. Gosh, and the mattes are just so silky. I've actually been pairing these 2 palettes with the Huda Beauty Pastel palettes, which I've actually, oh no, I've got the other Winky Lux in my crease today. I wore this one yesterday with the green pastel palette from Huda, and the look turned out so pretty. Again, the formulation is very nice on these shadows, but they're very standard type of finishes. The wind is something else today, man. And then this last guy. So that one is the Winky Lux Coffee Kitten palette right there, and those are the shades in that guy. Very compact packaging as well. Each shadow in these palettes is 1.7 grams per shade too, which is a pretty nice amount of product that you're getting. So here is the next one. This is the Cashmere Kitten palette right here, and this guy right here I've got on the Prowl shade, this one right here, through the crease today with the purple Huda Beauty palette on my eyes today. Again, just a really nice palette. Nothing revolutionary in terms of the finishes of them, but they're nice eyeshadows. You've got 4 shimmers and 5 mattes. These 2 and these 2 are shimmers, and then these ones and these ones are matte shades. There's a little bit of sparkle shot through that center Penelope shade, but it's a matte base. These next guys, oh, I almost forgot this one. A little out of order. This one does not smell like coffee. Just that other one was scented with coffee. And then this last one. Right there. So that one is the Cashmere Kitten palette. This has got the cutest packaging. And then I went to Sephora and they had the 3 new Huda Beauty Pastel eyeshadow palettes in there. These are the 9 pans. So I picked up all 3 and they come in this plastic like casing on the outside. Each one of these palettes has 0.21 ounces of product, which averages to be about 0.023 ounces per shade, which is smaller in terms of the amount of product that you're getting. There's a total of 6.1 grams in each of these. And I have got shades from both the Pastels Rose and the Pastel Lilacs on my eyes today. Again, I've got that Winky Lux shade in the crease, and I did wear the Pastels Mint palette yesterday, and I paired it with one of those chocolate brown coffee shades from the Winky Lux palette as well, because everything in these palettes is quite light, and because I have such a hooded eye, I like to put something deeper in the crease to kind of recess it a little bit because it is very heavy. So these aren't standalone eyeshadow palettes for me, much like their neon palettes that they came out with. I think that was last year. Those aren't standalone either. I love to use these type of palettes as pairing palettes. Now, with that being said, the formulation on these is very interesting in terms of the shimmer formula. So I'll start off with the Pastels Rose palette right here, which I've got a little bit of these two shades right here, these shiny ones on my eyes today. These shiny shades are like a cream formula. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, I'm going to try to show you guys that I can push on that eyeshadow and it moves. I can do that on all of them. They feel, you know, they're squishy type of eyeshadows, which I prefer them not to be squishy. I wish they were just a standard kind of nice sparkly shimmer shadow. That being said, once you get them on the lids, they are very, very pretty. They're shiny and sparkly and have a nice effect to them, but they are kind of difficult to get on the eyes, like both with my finger and with a brush. I really have to kind of jab my brush in there to pick up the product, and then I really have to kind of blend it out because it'll pick up chunky. When I tried to overlap those shimmery shades, they don't mesh into each other very well, so then I kind of went in with my finger and tried to blend them together. So they are a little bit finicky to work with. However, I feel like once you get them on, they are quite pretty. Yesterday when I used the Mint palette, I put on the normal amount of eyeshadow primer that I do, and I found that those shimmer shades were creasing really bad throughout the day, so I kept like taking my finger to kind of blend those creases out. I used less shadow primer on my lid today than I did yesterday, less than what I normally use, and they're holding up a little bit better today than they did yesterday. However, there is a little bit of creasing still going on. I haven't gone in with my finger and blended them out or anything like that, but these do have a tendency to crease a little bit, those shimmery shades. All the matte shades that I used, I feel like are very nice for pastels. They do kick up quite a bit of product and they're quite dusty, but that's kind of just the nature of a pastel matte eyeshadow. They're not the easiest formulation to do, but I find that these ones have got a nice amount of pigmentation. I haven't had any problems layering, packing on, and blending with the pastel shades. I think that they're very, very pretty. Again, all the shades in these palettes are very light, so they're pairing palettes for me. So that's kind of how I feel about the shades in all three of the palettes. So we'll go ahead and swatch the Pastels Rose palette first. So the four shimmers in here are these guys, and then these ones right here are the mattes. So let's swatch these shimmers first. So you can see there's a slight translucency to them. I have to really pack them on to get more vibrancy out of them than that. Like I said, these are a little bit more of a finicky formula, and they do feel like a cream to powder type of a situation, but you can kind of feel like there's a lot of silicones in them. But here are the mattes. And I really been getting along with these mattes well. Again, pastel matte eyeshadows are not easy to do, and they're just dusty by nature. Okay. So that one right there is the, what did I say? Pastels Rose eyeshadow palette right there. This next one is the Pastels Lilac. And this one is in the purple packaging right here. This one has also got 4 of those shimmery shades and 5 matte eyeshadows. I've got quite a bit of these 2 shades on my lid today, along with those lighter shades from the Rose palette kind of on the inner portion. But we'll swatch these shimmery ones first. I wish that these shimmers were more like her standard shimmer formula from her larger palettes. I like those better because they're easier to use. But these do have a really pretty kind of iridescent shimmer to them once you get them on the lid. But those are the shimmers. And then here are your mattes. I'm going to hold them up next to each other too, because I feel like there's some shades from the Rose palette to this one that are a little bit similar. So I feel like she could have stuck a little bit darker shade in there to kind of make it an inclusive palette, but it is a pastel palette. But I keep seeing that pastels or florals for spring groundbreaking or whatever from The Devil Wears Prada. So that one right there is the Lilac, right? Pastels Lilac palette right there. And then this last one is the Pastels Mint palette. I've seen a lot of people comparing it to the Mint to Be palette from Colourpop. That is an all mint palette. This one has got some more yellowy and some brown shades. There's actually, well, there's 5 mint kind of shades in here, and then there's 4 other shades. I don't think that they're like dupes or anything like that. Some of these shades are a little similar, but that is a very mint palette, the Mint to Be one. This one's got a little bit more variety to it. This one has got 5 of those shimmer shades, which are these 3 and these ones right here, and then the ones in the corner are your matte eyeshadows. So again, I'll swatch the shimmer shades first. This one. See, you can see just how, look at how squishy that shadow is. Those are the shimmer shades in the palette. And then these ones are the mattes. And the look that I did with this palette and pairing it with the Winky Lux yesterday was so pretty. The pastels, for again being pastels, you can see that there's just a lot of pigmentation to them, which makes them, in my opinion, a nicer pastel to work with. Because again, pastels are hard. But that one right there is the Pastels Mint palette. And then I just wanted to show them all side by side, especially the Rose and the Lilac. Because like I said, you know, there's a little bit of similarity in some of those shades right there. Also from Sephora, I saw that they came out with new shades of the Marc Jacobs Highliner Liquid Gel Eyeliners. I think they originally came out with like 4 or 5, and they kind of extended the range. And I saw this color called Berry Deep, number 46. This is the packaging on the box packaging on the liner. And the color of this looks so pretty that I just kind of could not resist it. It's a really deep burgundy purple color. It's just stunning. It's actually the eyeliner that I have on my upper lash line today. And again, it is a really beautiful color, but let me tell you what, this formula is something to work with. You have to really shake up the bottle. And then the felt tip on here, it's got a little felt tip that doesn't hold a ton of product. And for me to get the intensity of this eyeliner that I have on my eyes today, I had to go over this like 5 or 6 times, and you have to wait between coats for it to dry before you go over it again, otherwise it'll move the product. This eyeliner is super finicky, and just to kind of see if it would go on more opaque in a skinny line, I just drew a skinny line first, and no, it's not opaque at all, even in a skinny line compared to like my thick eyeliner. This formula is just super finicky. The color is beautiful. I love the end result. I think it's super pretty, but I really feel like my eyes are sore from going over it so many times to get the color to build up. And then when it dries, it kind of dries into this rubbery type of a texture or something. But I don't like this. I really don't like it. I don't like the felt tip applicator. It's really hard. It doesn't absorb a lot of product, so you have to keep dipping your little applicator back into the wand. You have to go over it so many times. But I mean, I think it looks stunning on, but I'm not going to keep this because it's just, it was not fun to work with. But I'm going to swatch it for you guys. So this is the shade where I say berry. It's Berry Deep. And these do dry as well with a glossy finish. I don't know if you can see, there is just some patchiness in here. That's 2 swipes without taking a dip. See, the color is stunning, but I don't care for the applicator and I don't care for the formula. It's just really hard for me to use. And I do feel like the very tip of this applicator is starting to fray a little bit as well. If this was a brush, I think it would work out a whole lot better. But for me, only using this 2 times, I used it yesterday and today, and for this to already be fraying, no go for me. Then I went over to Ulta and I purchased this Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Longwear Foundation and Concealer, and I got the shade LP2. This foundation range online has 100 shades, which is like astronomical. I think it's probably the biggest foundation shade range that I've ever seen. But I kept hearing Raw Beauty Christy talk about how much she loves this foundation, and I kind of bought it for the concealer aspect because I like to use a product with SPF in it, and this does not have SPF, but they market it as a longwear foundation and concealer. So I got LP2, and the thing with this is it comes with a pump for if you want to use it as a foundation, or you can screw the top off like this and there's a doe foot applicator to it. So this again is LP2, and I used it yesterday for concealer, and this has got, it's got a thin consistency. I feel like you have to set it because even after I set it, I feel like it kind of migrated a little bit into my fine lines because it's very silicone-y, but there's a whole lot of coverage to it. So I had put on the number 7 Protect and Perfect, which I think has decent coverage, and it was almost like the concealer underneath my eyes looked a little bit too much coverage for the foundation, you know, like they weren't like matching up together in terms of the amount of coverage that they were giving. I felt like this was a little bit more for a super heavy duty full coverage type of a face if I was going to use this underneath my eyes. But that's LP2. Like you can, I'll show you, I just put a dab on there. That is some serious coverage. And I kind of wish that I would have set it a little bit more yesterday because again, like I said, it migrated into my little under eye wrinkles, rolls underneath there. But other than that, I think that it has some definite potential. I have to play with it a little bit more, but for like the lighter foundations that I wear, this has got a lot of coverage. But anyway, that's the LP2 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation. Again, online, this has got 100 shades. That's like crazy. Also from Ulta, I got this Makeup Revolution Glass Crystal Illuminator. There's 0.35 ounces of product. I usually like to tell you how much product. This is a 1 ounce bottle, this Pure foundation and concealer. But back to this Glass Crystal Illuminator, 0.35 ounces of product in here. And I got the shade Glass Crystal. I think the packaging is quite pretty, kind of like a mosaic type of design there. And this is like a pressed version of the holiday loose version they came out with called Loose Highlighter and Iced Diamond. This guy right here. I feel like this is the pressed version of this product. With that being said, I do prefer the loose version because this here can get a little heavy on the skin. Like I can feel, again, I can feel some silicones in this product. You can, again, like, I can like push in it. I think some companies are kind of overdoing it with the silicones because when there's too much, then it starts to sit heavy on the skin. It makes the product like thicker. So I wish they'd cool their jets on the silicone. But I do have this on the top of my cheeks and the highlight points of my face today, and I do think it's pretty, but you have to make sure to really buff it out. And because of that heavier texture, you need a little bit more of a stiffer brush to pick it up. But let me swatch it for you guys. Again, I prefer the loose version over this one, but it is still pretty. it sits a little bit thicker on the skin, which I'm not crazy about. So that is the Revolution Glass Crystal Illuminator right there. And that one is the shade, what I say, Glass Crystal. Also at Ulta, they had this Zoeva 146 Concealer Perfector Concealer Brush. And when I was in there like 2 weeks ago, I was after this guy right here, and they didn't have any in the section. They had one on the display, but I don't know if they were sold out or if they just didn't get them in yet. But I really wanted this brush because it looked very similar to the new Pat McGrath concealer brushes that came out. And I was watching Kinky Sweat on YouTube here, and she had this brush and compared it to the Pat McGrath one, and the shapes are very, very similar. She did say that this one was slightly more stiff than the Pat McGrath one, so that one must be just a little bit softer. I don't have any Pat McGrath brushes. I haven't heard the greatest things about them, and they are synthetics. They're overpriced synthetics. So anyway, I went with this guy right here. This is the 146 again concealer perfector brush, and this is from Zoeva in the rose golden. So I just think the shape is super cool. I've been using a sponge for concealer underneath my eyes, but I used this today to pat on the primer, the eyeshadow primer that I use, which is a Bare Minerals foundation, and it just really applied a nice, even, quick application. So I enjoyed this brush using it today for primer. At some point I'll give it a go with concealer, but the shape of this is kind of like, it's kind of genius, I feel like. Like, it's just a really good shaped brush, right? So happy that Zoeva is in Ulta stores now. I think that's great. And then I saw this Smith & Colt Locked in Lip CBD Lip Balm. And I wasn't thinking anything of it, but then I had to like swatch the balms, right? And then I smelled it and I was like, I need to have this. And so I got the shade Glassy Pink. And this is the packaging right here. These are like a newer product to the Smith & Colt line, and it comes in a pot. And this is like a warm pink color, and these smell so lovely. Like a candied, I don't know, like a popsicle or like a sucker. It kind of smells like a sucker. But it's just a super glossy balm, and again, these have got CBD in them. So it's called the Locked in Lit CBD Lip Balm, and this is Glassy Pink. You get 0.40 ounces of product, which is just a massive amount of product. And so there is the lip balm. I think for like a balmy type product, it's got a decent amount of pigment in there as well. But oh gosh, it smells so good. So anyway, that's the Smith & Colt Locked in Lit CBD Lip Balm in Glassy Pink. And then I placed an order on the Beautylish website because I wanted 2 more blushes, one from Anna Sui and one, or Anna Sui, I got some flack for that, Anna Sui, and the other one from Jill Stuart. So I got the Jill Stuart Bloom Mix Blush Compact in 06 Brilliant Bloom. And these come in such pretty packaging. This is like a detachable little crystal thing that you can kind of, you clip on there. It's just really, really pretty right here. So this is the shade 06, and this is the blush that I have on my cheeks today, and I think it's super stunning. When I first went in there, I must have concentrated my brush more on these shades, and it went on super intense, and then I went into these lighter shades and just kind of buffed over it, and they blended out really well. I feel like you can really customize the shades in here, and if you even got a smaller brush, you could really, you know, use this for highlight and different blush shades in here, but I think it's super pretty. I'm just going to go ahead and swatch all the shades because that's kind of what I got on my cheeks today. I feel like I got a little bit, I'm swatching the 3, these are the 3 darker shades right here. And then I'll swatch the 2 highlights, how about? But very customizable because of the different shades that are in here, and I really like these blushes. And I wanted to show it to you guys next to the 03 Mellow Daisy, which I've actually been wearing a ton, just so you guys can see the differences. So here is 06 Brilliant Bloom right here, and then here's 03 Mellow Daisy, which I hauled a few videos ago, and I really like these. I kind of want to collect them all, but they're pretty expensive. And then I got the other Anna Sui face color in 304, which I already had an empty compact for this, so I didn't purchase another one. You buy the little compacts separately, and then the blushes come in a pan in a box like this, and you put them inside of there. So I didn't use this yet. I wanted you guys to see what it looks like before you use it, because the dark purple veining in there is an overspray. And I'm going to swatch it for you guys, and there goes the pretty little overspray. But this one's just kind of a deeper berry pink kind of a color. What I'm actually going to do is run my brush through this and get rid of that, because that purple does affect, I noticed that when I use the other one, that purple does affect the coloring of the blush. So now it's all gone. Now let me swatch it again. So it's a little bit more pink right there. So that one there is the 304 face color, and these two kind of released together, I think, as part of the spring collection. This is the one that I hauled a few videos ago. That is in, I gotta pull it out to look at the back. That is 601. So this is the 601 shade next to the one that I just purchased right there. And I got these compacts on there too, which are very, very pretty. But I really like these blushes as well. And they do have a pretty strong rose scent. The Jill Stuart ones do too, but these ones are stronger. So if you're not into a rose smell, then you might not like these. Also at Beautylish, I purchased their Clarify and Cleanse Bar from Good Molecules. I purchased this when it first launched, which I want to say was maybe a month ago or so. And I've actually been using this product in the shower as a body wash. And I'm somebody who gets like, it's very minor kind of acne, if you will, on my shoulders and kind of on my back. So I always use kind of an acne type body wash to kind of try to combat that. It's more annoying than anything. It's not like a severe case. I want to make mention of that too, because if you do have severe, I don't know if this would work, but I've been using this Clarify and Cleanse Bar here from Good Molecules as my body wash. And not only is my skin not like really dry, it almost feels kind of conditioned, but the bumps and stuff on my shoulders are like almost all gone. Like it's a very, very smooth. I'm very pleasantly surprised with how well this worked. I actually was really nervous about using it at first, thinking that it might make things worse, because the other products that I was using have some really, stronger ingredients in them. And I just continued on using it, and my skin on my body has been getting a lot nicer, and I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. Like I said, if you have a more severe case, it's a little iffy, but it does say on here, soap-free cleansing bar formulated with white willow bark extract, kaolin clay, and cocoa powder to help maintain a clear complexion for acne-prone skin. And I'm half tempted to start using this on my face, but I'm hesitant because I'm like, a bar soap on my face, I don't know how well that'll work out, but it worked out really nice on my shoulders and my back, so I should just bite the bullet. For $8, I think this is worth giving a try. This one has got a soap in it because I actually got another bar sent in PR with their new Caffeine Energizing Hydrogel eye patches, which are like jelly patches that you put underneath your eyes. Again, I originally purchased the bar soap, and now I have another one, which I'm pretty stoked about. I'm talking a little bit about the Caffeine Energizing Hydrogel eye patches. How I've been using this is I like to use that Origins, the green like CBD one, and I put a little bit of that Origins mask underneath my eyes, and then I put these on top of it to kind of lock that in. And then also this has some moisturizing properties as well, and I feel like that just keeps the mask more hydrated underneath the eyes while it's on. And that's kind of how I like to use these eye patches. They worked out great for using them like that, but other than that, I don't have a lot to report back because I don't tend to get super puffy under eyes. I tend to get puffy upper eyes. Like my upper hood will get, depending on how much sleep I get, this gets heavy. Not the under eyes, the upper eyes, but I really have been enjoying this Clarify and Cleanse Bar. And I do want to say thank you to Good Molecules for sending over these products. And then from Sephora, I could not help myself. I just had to. I told myself I wasn't going to buy any more Tomforde lipsticks because a lot of the ones that I purchased, that some of them aren't even very old, have turned. I'm thinking maybe he's switched his formula. I'm not 100% sure. But this one is posing to be a different formula than the other ones. Granted, it is called the Tomforde Extreme Lip Spark. I got the shade 15 Baby, and this is the shine that you're seeing on my lips. I've got it on today with the Lancome Natural Mauve lip liner. I just kind of lined my lips and faded it inwards, and then I put this lipstick on. And this is a kind of a translucent high kind of micro glitter type of lipstick. You can feel the glitters on your lips, but it's not super gritty, but they're there. And I find like when you put on a couple layers is when it looks the prettiest, but the more that you layer it, the more that it has the glitter, little glitter chunks and stuff, has a tendency to chunk up on your lips. So a lighter layer is better with this, and it's super, super high shine, super sparkly. It's got a purple pink, kind of a white iridescence to it. Like the lipstick that first came to mind when I put this on was the Too Faced Miss Thing lipstick that came out with their 20th, is it the 20th anniversary collection that they came out with? This lipstick right here is what it reminded me of, but I feel like this one wears a little bit better than the Tomforde one, but I really like the finish that it gives. You have to really like a super sparkly lip like the Lip Sparks. I think some people might use these as layering products. Again, I just used it by itself. I do feel like it's a little bit of a high maintenance lipstick if you put more on, because again, it bunches up and you have to like break it up a little bit. But I'll put some more on, even though less is more with this because of, again, the bunching up of it. But I think it looks so pretty with more on. It's so shiny. It's so shiny. I do really like it, and I think that it looks super pretty. But again, I think it's a little bit of a high maintenance product. So anyway, this one comes in the silver packaging right here. This is one of the Lip Sparks, and this is 15 Baby. And this has got a little bit of a different type of a bullet. This was actually sharper until I put it on. But it's got like the little sparkles on the outside. Look at that. It's just, it is really pretty. But again, you can slightly feel those little glitters on there. And the formula is a little bit finicky. But that's what I have on my lips today. I am living for it, not gonna lie. So that's the Tomforde Lip Spark in 15 Baby. And then lastly, I got a PR package from Colourpop, and I had total plans of purchasing this because it's just a very beautiful collection. And I actually got it the day before it launched. And I'm just always so excited to get packages from Colourpop because I buy so much from Colourpop. I like to collect their eyeshadow palettes because I feel like, even price aside, because they are very affordable products, that they're very, very good even with the lower price tag. I feel like they compete with a lot of mid-range, even some high-end products. Their eyeshadows are very, very nice. I get along with them super well. So they sent me the Making Mauves collection, which is this one right here. So the collection came with this Super Shock Duo in Merci Bouquet, which are these guys right here. And there are 2 shades that came in here. And these are probably the products that I'll use the least just because I don't use the Super Shock formula that much. They're like a spongy, like cream to powder type formula. But these are very pretty shades. Usually when I use these, I use them after powder eyeshadow kind of as a topper. So we've got Bloomer, which is a purple color. Right there. I just love shades like this. Like these type of duochromy purpley shades. Looks super pretty with that lipstick, right? So that's the shade Bloomer. And then the other shade that came in the duo is Day Trippin'. This is really stunning as well. But both these shadows I feel like are a little bit lighter, like in terms of intensity, than what I remember some Super Shock shadows to be. I'm half tempted to like dab that on my cheeks, to be honest. Like, should we? Let's dab this on my cheeks. It actually looks really pretty. Adds a pretty purple like iridescence to my cheeks. That is really pretty like that. I gotta do the other side. Kind of ties in with the eyeshadow. I like that. That's called Day Trippin' right there. It's that guy. The collection also came with 2 pressed powder blushes. This is the box packaging on these guys. And I love that they put a little bit of a design on the actual packaging as well. It's a hard plastic packaging. Each blush comes with a total of 0.21 ounces of product, and these are both matte blushes. So this first one is Coast to Coast, and this is more of a light mauve pink. This whole collection altogether is just so stunning. So that's Coast to Coast. And then the other shade, which is a little bit brighter pink, is called Catch My Vibe, which is again super pretty. I wore this blush when I wore the palette the other day, and I thought it was very nice. And again, both of those are matte. And then here is the eyeshadow palette, again called Making Mauves. This one comes in cardboard packaging, and there's a total of 9 grams or 0.3 ounces of product according to the back of the packaging here. And then there are 9 shades. Colourpop eyeshadows are also magnetized in the palette, so you can remove them. There aren't any Super Shock shades in this one. And then there are 6 mattes, and this shade right here called Tongue Tied, that's a matte infused with sparkles, but mostly a matte shade. And then something about these middle shades, they're so high shine and so metallic. I feel like that's a newer formula to the Colourpop line, and it's very pretty, like very, very pretty shades there. So let's swatch these shiny ones first. And then this shade right here is so stunning. Super, super pretty colors. See, I feel like this shade especially, I feel like that's a bit of a newer like formula. They're very metallic. We'll swatch the mattes. I feel like this palette is also curated really well in terms of the color selection, both light to dark and finishes, which makes them super easy to use. I feel like it's a good inclusive palette. And then these 2 shades. So there is the Making Mauves eyeshadow palette right there. And then lastly, the collection came with 2 of their new Lux Glosses. I want to say that this is a pretty new formula of glosses for Colourpop. And I was really pleasantly surprised when I put these on, because this formula feels like a oil balm gloss hybrid. They have a nice high shine, but they're not sticky, and they feel balm-like and still substantial on the lips, like a very nice formula. And then it's got like a sweet type of a smell to it, and there was something about both the formula and the smell that was like taking me back a good 7 years to a product that I remember using, and it took me a while to think of it. And Revlon used to make these glosses that kind of they kind of got skinny in the middle and then got big and had a black cap, and I can't remember the name of them exactly, but that's what this smells like. And so it just like time warped me a good 7 years back, because I really love that product. And I'm not a huge gloss wearer because I don't like a goopy kind of sticky product on my lips, especially with my like longer hair, but these don't feel like that. Again, they feel like more of a balm texture with still a really glossy finish. So I'm actually going to end up throwing one of these in my pocket, because this is just a nice throw on type of product. And I want to say that they came out with a range of these glosses, so I'm going to check out the other shades that they have as well in this formula. So it's this one right here called the Colourpop Lux Gloss right here. And these are the 2 shades that came out with the Making Mauves collection. So there's a lighter kind of mauvey pink called Check-In with a pretty, like, it's got this pretty purple iridescence to it. But what really gets me with these is the way they feel on the lips. They just feel very, very nice. So that one is the Check-In shade, and then the other one is a bit deeper and a little bit more purple, and this one's called Figgy With It. Figgy Wit It. Figgy Wit It. It's got a little bit of sparkle in there, but not a ton. Yeah, there's just something. These really smell like those old school Revlon lip products that I used to love. And it's funny because the formula reminds me of them as well. Very interesting. So that one is the, what I say, Figgy Wit It and Check-In. And then it's got a large like doe foot applicator on there. I just like to smell these because it's like a total, just like a total time warp for me. A huge thank you to Colourpop for sending that collection over. And that is everything for my haul today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.